Good morning. My name is Greg Schaub, Corporate Executive Chef with Coach's Low Country Brands. Today we will be working with the 5 mother sauces, and we will be starting from scratch on all the sauces and preparing them individually. And today we'll be using 3 different stocks. One will be a chicken stock, a beef stock, and then we'll be working with an emulsified clarified butter stock, which will be the hollandaise sauce as well. And then we'll be working with a bechamel, which is a basic white sauce made with milk. This sauce, I'm going to go ahead and make a onion piqué.
An onion piqué is actually a small white onion which is peeled and cut with a bay leaf inserted. It's really used to add a lot of flavor to a stock. It's an excellent way to add flavor. It tastes delicious.
What you do is you take your knife, cut the onion in half, cut just one slit across, and then you're going to stud it with your cloves. We're going to make today a recipe of 1 gallon. Actually, on all sauces, for the most part, we'll average a gallon and work with that quantities to make it easy and simple on all the recipes so they're standard. The next thing you want to do is an onion piqué is simply an onion, cloves, and bay leaves. And what you want to do is put your bay leaf right in the onion itself and make it so that it doesn't come apart, number one, in your sauce, and it helps keep it together so you don't get a lot of little flakes in the sauce at the end. The other thing we're going to start now is our roux for the bechamel.
Roux is equal parts of cooked flour and fat. It's used to thicken liquids.
And what we're going to be doing is starting with a basic roux, and this will be a white roux, blonde roux. This roux is never cooked more than 8 minutes. A roux is made up of 50% butter and 50% flour. This sauce is a bechamel sauce, which is a white sauce. There's just one change in the sauce when you start off. You have to start off with clarified butter because you do not want to burn your vegetables, and you have a higher heating temperature point with your butter when you saute your onions. So what we're going to do is go ahead, start the onions and start sauteing the onions in the clarified butter. The butter has to be clarified once again so we do not scorch our onions and we have a higher burning point, and it gives us a little bit of safety as far as doing that. A roux, once again, is just butter, flour, and it's a 50-50 ratio average. For an average gallon of sauce, you want to use 8 ounces of flour, 8 ounces of clarified, or 8 ounces of butter. Your flour should be a bread flour when you're making a roux, and that's something most people use, bread flour or all-purpose flour, as their base for their roux. And what you want to do is get your roux in not too hot, medium temperature, so you don't burn the roux and the butter in the bottom. You can adjust your flavors easily as far as the roux stock goes itself, by how long you cook it. But once again, in this roux, we want a blonde roux. We do not want to overcook it, so we end up with a nice white color sauce. And that's the purpose of only cooking this roux no more than 8 minutes. We're going to simmer our vegetables, which is just the onion base. And all we want to do is simmer them on medium heat. And we just want to simmer them to where they're limp and starting to get real clear. At this point in time, we can go ahead and add our roux to our bechamel. We got a nice color here. And again, this is a very, very simple sauce because it's just roux, your sauteed onions for flavor, you have your milk, and then that is pretty much it with your salt and pepper, and that's the base foundation of this sauce. And what you want to do is add a hot roux to the recipe, but your broth, which in this case is your milk, you don't want to have it hot because you want on your roux, when mixing to make your sauces, you want to have a warm roux, hot roux, and only a lukewarm product stock, because if you add hot and hot, everything turns to lump, and then you've got a problem.
Who knew?
So you want to make sure you basically have a lukewarm stock, and your roux, of course, is hot. We'll cook this out for a few more minutes, and then we can add our milk. And we can start to thicken our sauce. Now, one thing, mixing back to the bechamel, you do not want to get your lumps in the sauce, so you want to keep stirring it. Add in your stock slowly. Again, in this case, we're mixing our milk. It's just slightly warmed. And we'll start to get our thickening coming up now. The onion piqué, once we add it at the end, you want to steep it for about 20 minutes to 25 minutes. And then you're going to strain this sauce so that we have a flavor enhanced sauce with that onion piqué. Onion piqué is not necessary, but the basic white sauce bechamel is just like in milk, roux, and your salt and pepper. This sauce you can at the end add nutmeg if you prefer, but do not have to. We're tempering our sauce now, and we're going to continue to add more liquid to bring it up to our volume that we're looking for. And at the same time, you can see how nice and consistent the product, the sauce looks. It is smooth. And the other thing is you're starting to see a gloss. When you start to see a gloss in the recipe or in your sauce, that means your roux was made correctly, and it'll end up having a nice nappe at the end when you're finished.
Nappe means cooking a sauce until it's a consistency that will just coat the back of a spoon.
Some things we need to look for when we're working with a bechamel. You do not want to burn the onions at the start. You do not want to overcook them, obviously. You do not want to scorch your milk in the bottom of the pan. Once you scorch the milk in the bottom of the pan, when you start adding your milk product to the bechamel, then you have to start all over again. Sauces that we can make from the sub sauce, from this mother sauce, is a Mornay sauce, a cheese sauce of any sort actually, and a cream sauce. Those are the common sauces made. What do we do with those sauces? Well, a cheese sauce is excellent over fish of any sort, grilled. Mornay sauce can be used in white lasagnas made with vegetables of any sort, and so you've got a lot of options. A cheddar sauce is great actually to make macaroni and cheese. That gives you a good example.
I love macaroni and cheese. So if you have any favorites that you'd like to share with me, my email is kaylee@goprostart.com, and I'd really appreciate it if you send them to me.
You've got a nice